And we're back. Welcome back. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another one of this, where we go and check out what's happening in our favorite space, and that is the gaming space. Again, I wish I could do this in Rumble, but unfortunately, Rumble is not that popular enough or big enough to have all the content creators I'm watching. In fact, still, almost all of them are still in YouTube, unfortunately. Maybe in the future, when Rumble becomes more popular than YouTube. Will that happen? Who knows? Remember, Yahoo died. So there is a chance. Yahoo back then was like the big thing. And now it still exists though. Still exists. But I wouldn't call it big. It has been surpassed and overshadowed by Google. Okay, let's take a look at this. Ubisoft caught in a lie from the Arcast. Okay. And then, of course, here from Smash JT, 3 million players. Whoa, that's where I based the title in the thumbnail. Yeah, Ubisoft, as you can see, is a massive success with 3 million players in just a week since release. Imagine that. I really thought the game would fail, but I guess I was wrong. 3 million players. That is a lot of players. But the question is, how many copies were sold? Because you can have 3 million players, but if you did not sell anything, you just gave away the game to 3 million players, then you did not really make any money from it. So having 3 million players is good, but how many copies were sold? Because, again, as I've said, if you gave away the game to 3 million players, then it doesn't really mean anything.
Ubisoft has announced that they have sold 3 million. Oh, wait, no. Let me check that again. Oh, no, they just have 3 million players. But they put the word out there to make it seem like they've sold 3 million.
Just what I thought.
When they haven't even come.
They have 3 million players, sure. But the question is, how many copies were sold?
They announced that, oh, hey, we got 1 million players. And everyone was like, yeah, but how many copies did you sell?
And exactly, we have the same thought. And besides, the 3 million players you can just make up a number. They can say, we have 10 million players. Sure.
How many copies have you sold?
How many copies were sold?
Fast forward 5 days later, we now have Ubisoft announcing 3 million players for Assassin's Creed.
Let's make it better. Okay, let's make it better. Let's make the number better. Let's just say that Assassin's Creed Shadow has 20 million players.
Subscribe, give me a like, and check out smashjt.com for the full article breaking down how Ubisoft.
It doesn't matter.
That they have
what matters is how many copies were sold.
Just cheer this on and eat it up because reasons? Ubisoft is now in full-on damage control mode, and I've honestly never seen anything like it. They are desperately trying to convince the public, and more importantly, the investors, that Assassin's Creed Shadows is off to a roaring start. And believe me, It isn't. This is one of those cases where it's lying by omission, by giving some curated stats that have been carefully looked at from specific angles and not giving any kind of control to
This is Ubisoft's
nothing to base
a return to form.
against. It's just here's
Sounds familiar?
and hopefully give
If you think it sounded familiar,
please. The official Assassin's Creed Twitter
because it is.
posted the chest puffing announcement that
The Veil Guard used the same
calling it the
tagline, a return to form, or I guess you can say the same praise.
performance of the
Key praise, a return to form,
all the stats they want to, but
which means either
and sustainability
those people writing those articles are bots
revenue stream look like
or they're just
at some point ever. And from what
they just lack creativity
hold my breath on that.
and skills.
On Twitter said over 3 million players for Assassin's Creed Shadows. Second highest day one sales revenue in Assassin's Creed franchise history. Biggest Ubisoft day one ever on PlayStation Digital Store. Best community ever with over 40 million hours already played. Justice is forged in the shadows and puts a screenshot saying 3 million players. And those stats all sound super powerful, all well and good, and very big numbers. But it doesn't talk about if they're actually making money off the game. They're just saying, hey, there's a bunch of people playing it. At least we think that's what it is because they're not actually telling us what players means. Behind the marketing fluff and social media hype, the numbers tell a very different story. It's more lying by omission, and people are seeing right through it. Second highest day one sales revenue in Assassin's Creed history means literally nothing if they spent 5 to 10 times the budget on this game compared to the previous installment. The problem with the stats that they continue to throw out there is that there is no control group given, meaning that it's easy to fudge the numbers and make it appear like, at least on the surface, that it's far better than it really is when you dig just
They had a meeting
now. Ironically, the
and they all concluded that they'll just make up numbers.
Euronext Paris
You know what? You know what?
attempt to reassure investors that
Let's just make up numbers.
even that move
No one will notice. Gamers are stupid.
it wasn't enough. And Ubisoft stock continues the downward trend. 3 million players might sound like a big number, and honestly, it is, except when you realize what Assassin's Creed Shadows reportedly cost to make. Rumors have placed the budget for this title anywhere between $350 million to nearly $1 billion. Where
It's not surprising because they paid a lot of people. They have like over 2 hours
and that very real
of credit
announcing that 3
or
million
end credit.
barely even makes a dent on how much it costs to make the game.
That is a lot of people. So they paid a lot of people. So yeah, it's not surprising if the game costs
$80 a month to have access to it.
hundreds of millions of dollars to make.
Plus 4 Assassin's Creed Shadows said they did it with the sole intent of only having it for a month, and they already canceled their subscription the second they signed up to make sure that they didn't get any kind of recurring charge on their credit card. Pair that with Ubisoft would need tens of millions of players to even begin to break even, let alone call it a success. The simple math can tell anyone that. At this point, the reliance on player count instead of actual sales revenue or profit margins is just a giant red flag, and peak of pushing positivity on social media in hopes to turn the tides of public sentiment on the overall feelings of this extremely controversial game. And when I say controversial, that's kind of an understatement, especially when we get to Japan and how this is being received over there, because despite what Ubisoft was trying to say, it's not going well over in Japan. You'd think Ubisoft would have pulled out all the stops to make a strong cultural impression for their first and very eagerly awaited game based in Japan, but no, the reception has been nothing short of abysmal. According to Pirate Nation, Japanese sales for Assassin's Creed Shadows are down 60% compared to Valhalla. Let that sink in. The Japanese audience, the very same people that Ubisoft was supposedly honoring with this title, completely rejected it. The public over there simply wasn't interested. Then there's the brutal comparison from Hypnotic, who said, "Here is the physical sales for the week of release."
Ubisoft wasn't honoring Japan. They were ridiculing Japan. They were humiliating Japan.
Maybe double or triple that number for digital. Xenoblade,
From how they have marketed the game, that is obviously what their intent was.
Even though that game has been out for a little bit now. So much for Japan Loves Shadows, LOL. This game will probably fall off this list next week or the week after, I have to imagine. And he followed that up with a crazy stat about Ghost of Tsushima, saying, just an FYI, for those who might think Western games don't sell well or whatever other nonsense, here's the opening physical sales for Ghost of Tsushima at release in Japan, 221,915. Compared to Shadows in 2025 at 17,701, LOL. Honestly, when you put the two together, it screams a financial disaster for Ubisoft.
Those 17,000 who bought the game were not Japanese. They were all Westerners or Europeans staying in Japan.
Blown out by a 4-year-old game from a Western studio who actually took their time to understand and respect the culture that it was portraying. Ultimately, Assassin's Creed Shadows is coping hard, and they're trying their best to get people online to fall for it and think that anyone that's detracting from it is the crazy ones. But in reality,
don't forget that Ubisoft is involved in sexual harassment cases.
Ubisoft is spiraling downward, and I want nothing to do with this company, especially with the insane amount of debt that they are buried underneath. This is not a company that is sustainable on the current trajectory that they're on. And
Ubisoft is also a company that partnered with a terrorist supporter.
Another entity to share the burden.
Let that sink in.
Forward in the future, and I would expect some news coming down the pipe very soon.
Ubisoft is a company that is far from virtuous. It's far from righteous. It's far from
another outlet to continue
morally correct,
even if it's just for a very short period of time. Because as it stands right now, this company strikes me as a company on its last legs, trying its best to fool investors and squeeze every last drop of money they can out of value with this company before it collapses under its own weight. But at the end of the day, don't be fooled by the numbers. 3 million players is great for a small indie game. It's nothing in the grand scheme when talking about a massive AAA budgeted title where Ubisoft is refusing to talk.
And again, it's 3 million players.
In the door. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. If you guys want more information, check out.
It's not copies sold. What's important is copies sold. Because you can just make up a number and say we have 50 million players. Okay, so my browser went back because I accidentally clicked on the back button. Okay, now the video that I was going to watch is gone. It got replaced by non-Snow White. Okay, look at that. We have non-Snow White. How is she Snow White? I don't get it. Okay, so I had to stand up and go outside to chase our cat. Two cats were able to get out. We don't let them go out because they'll get lost because they have never been out. Our cats, we have how many? More than 10. I lost count. We have a lot of cats and they're all literally house cats. They have never been outside. Okay, refreshing to see what we have here. Again, why is non-Snow White? She keeps up. Yeah, I do watch videos from WDW Pro, but I'm not particularly interested in non-Snow White. Okay, I'm going to check out this one. Ubisoft fanboy suggests placing a hit as on Asmongold for criticizing Assassin's Creed Shadows. These people are mentally ill. To them, it's acceptable to encourage violence towards other people. To them, it's acceptable, it's justifiable, it's justified because those people don't agree with them. That is the kind of people these people are. And if you support those people, then most probably than not, you have the same beliefs. You agree with what they're saying, that it's okay to threaten violence to those who we don't agree with or you don't agree with. Are you that kind of person?
Hey, what's up guys, Riff here. So another day and another video about Assassin's Creed Shadows. Would you look at that? Well, we're talking about this game once again today.
They should rename Assassin's Creed into Assassin's Greed.
This game already, but we're reaching kind of a step 6, which is just pure insanity, where we're seeing people reacting to a viral TikTok, trying to pool together their resources to put a hit out on Asmongold for basically saying this game is a 6 out of 10.
Also, what they're saying is it's okay to do that. So it means
20 minutes and 45.
It means they're okay with it. If the same thing happens to them, what they're saying is they're okay with it.
We were seeing this sort of bargaining position they're in, right? They're trying to say Assassin's Creed Shadows is this huge hit game, and it's going to be.
They're okay if other people threaten them with violence. That is what they're saying.
The fact that's not copies or units. But today we're seeing some journalists switching up. I guess we're at the acceptance phase. Okay, we jumped the 4th stage. We're on the 5th stage. Assassin's Creed Shadows isn't doing as well as Valhalla, but that's okay. Yes, they're pretty much accepting that it won't be as good as Valhalla. It won't be the greatest Assassin's Creed game ever, which is obvious. The comparisons we saw yesterday to Valhalla were ridiculous. It's
the only good thing I've heard about Assassin's Creed Shadows is the game world. The game world was well made. That's it. The game world was well made. But when I was watching gameplay, I'm not sure if the game was made in Unreal Engine, but it does have that Unreal Engine look. Unreal Engine 5 look.
Simulator, of course, that's more of a joke in terms of the attention it's getting, but today we have one that's a lot more serious. This is hilarious right here. So here's the trending tab on SteamDB. Number 1 right now is a game called Schedule 1, and it's absolutely destroying Assassin's Creed Shadows in the first 48 hours of its release. You can see the player numbers here destroying Assassin's Creed Shadows. And if you look at the game right now, 115,000 in-game players. I know Schedule 1 is very addicting, but these numbers are very impressive.
I have no idea what that game is. Schedule 1. Looks interesting.
Which is very similar to the price of a Ubisoft Plus subscription, which is where I would gather most players are accessing Assassin's Creed Shadows. So this is a very funny comparison point. But let's talk about the main theme of this video, and it's these threats against Asmongold. So you can see here, TikTok is not happy with Asmongold's Assassin's Creed Shadows takes. And you can see the top comment saying it's quite possible the primary source of all the toxicity in gaming nowadays. We ought to do something about Asmongold.
Again, they don't understand things. Okay? They think criticizing a product, well, a game is a product, is toxic. Yet, they don't see that threatening violence is far more toxic.
Portraying a characterization of what an Asmongold fan thinks, and obviously he's trying to make that as a reflection of Asmongold, and people are absolutely supporting that.
Again, if you are okay with, if you are promoting violence against other people, it means that you are also okay to receive the same thing. It goes both ways.
Shadowbox arguments that didn't happen, and let's just give this a quick watch.
So don't be surprised if the reverse happens, because you're okay with it. You are promoting violence, you are threatening people with violence. Obviously,
so right off,
it means you are also okay in receiving such threats and threats of violence. It's not one way. It goes both ways. That's why people with common sense don't advocate, they don't promote, they don't agree with violence, or they don't threaten people with violence, because they don't want such a thing to happen to them.
And that's obvious. There were millions of Native Americans.
It's simple. Do unto others, or do not do unto others what you don't want others to do unto you. Golden rule, however you want to say it, it's basically the same thing.
And they were going to be impacted by the results of this.
Do not do unto others what you don't want others do unto you. You don't want to receive death threats. You don't want other people advocating violence towards you. Then you don't do that. You don't do it to others. It's basic common sense. The problem with these people, they're so mentally ill that they don't understand common sense, and they totally lack common sense.
So you would want Connor to be white instead?
Yes, that would be more historically accurate.
But there were a few Native Americans who fought on both sides.
That's just obvious pandering.
Well, Assassin's Creed...
Okay, so he thinks it's obvious pandering that I guess Connor is the choice for Assassin's Creed 3, and that's how Asmongold fans would view this in the year 2025 if it was released now. It's absolutely crazy. I'm going to make this very clear. If we're going to talk about pandering, I'm going to give you the honest answer. Yes, I think having an African represent feudal Japan with gay romance options available to him is much more pandering than having Connor, a Native American,
It doesn't make sense.
protagonist of a game in the setting of the American Revolution. Yes, I think Yasuke is more pandering than Connor. I don't think that's a controversial thing to say if we're being a bit honest here.
It has never been historically accurate. It's been more so historically inspired.
So now he says Assassin's Creed's never been about being historically accurate. It's about being historically inspired. Well, there's one very big issue with this claim, and it's the fact that, as most of you already know, Assassin's Creed Shadows was marketed as being historically accurate. They were trying to be as authentic as possible. This was the big crux of their marketing campaign for most of 2024 and in 2025 as well. And they would flip-flop on this sometimes and say, hey, we don't want 100% accuracy. We want to be as close as possible with some creative liberties. And then they would back down from that and go back to being as authentic as possible.
I'm going to say it again. There was an anime called Black Samurai, and there was no backlash because that show was 100% fiction.
They had to have a major.
I don't remember them marketing that game as historically authentic.
It wouldn't have made any sense. If that was historically accurate, Yasuke wouldn't make sense. So instead, they have this major inaccuracy by calling him a samurai. So therefore, he actually makes sense as a protagonist in an Assassin's Creed game. Now,
again, it doesn't make sense. It's the setting is feudal Japan.
To make him a co-protagonist. While
Is it really so hard
it's a bunch of garbage.
to make the main character of a game set in feudal Japan Japanese?
With Yasuke, not just making him a samurai, but also
Is it really
killing historical characters.
that hard to do that?
Other situations like where he's
How is that hard? I think that is one of the most easiest decision you could ever make when selecting a main character for your game.
in real life. It's very, very crazy. And it's even crazier when you think about the historical inspiration of giving him not only gay romance options, but also a option to go bang a non-binary in the forest. Like, that's how historically inspired they were with this game. It's totally ridiculous. They're not trying to respect anything. They were, in fact, pandering.
No one complained.
The non-binary thing is a reach because are they saying that for what I know, non-binary is a modern invention.
A jumping off point about how basically
Sure, you can say
they're being racist.
homosexuality existed
In this
for
did you see
a long time. Maybe it also existed in feudal Japan, but non-binary?
within the video game? Did you see that
Copus
happen?
Preambit says.
No, you didn't. But
Visit
what you
Cavalier
did
Office
see
KO5
with Assassin's
page
Creed
at
Shadows
link.
was a lot of people in Japan offended by these representations and cultural, well, I guess, acts of disrespect to the point where the Japanese Prime Minister has condemned aspects of this game in regards to the destruction of the shrine. Which, by the
If I was the Prime Minister, I will outright ban the game from Japan.
It's another false equivalency, and it's totally ridiculous. Nobody cared about Connor.
Or anyone caught
That Connor was a native.
with the game
They only cared that his
will be
character
charged with a crime, a hate crime. Yeah, Assassin's Creed Shadows is a hate crime towards Japan.
historical inaccuracy is when race is involved.
But
Or how about when Ubisoft tried to be more historically accurate by giving Altair a Middle Eastern accent in Assassin's Creed Revelations and got criticized for not keeping the American accent from Assassin's
Okay, if someone was mad about that, I think they're stupid. But who's saying that? Like, who are we talking about anymore? Again, shadowboxing arguments that nobody in the scenario has raised and making these crazy comparisons. And like I said, they're using the race of Yasuke as a shield for criticism. They're saying basically if you have an issue with anything going on with Assassin's Creed Shadows, it's about race. Well,
and again, the bottom line is the game wasn't good.
So literally, you cannot criticize anything about this game because if you do, you're a racist. And I think
the thing is, if the game was good, if the game was innovative, like maybe like Palworld, I would call Palworld an innovative game. They combined Pokemon type game mechanics with shooting game mechanics.
The award for being stunning and brave goes to this guy. Yeah, making fun of Asmongold on TikTok is easy points because that's the way TikTok is. It's very similar to places like Reddit nowadays. And you can see, you have the caption with Asmongold up here. You can see the top responses.
That is the bottom line. If the game was good, I don't think people will care.
Toxicity in gaming nowadays.
Yeah, people wouldn't care.
At the very minimum, he's saying
once they see the gameplay trailers. Whoa, look at that. What? Whoa. And the reactions are like that. Whoa. That looks amazing.
They're implying something much more.
Look at the combat. Wow, the combat is better than anything From Software made. If those were the reactions when the trailers for Assassin's Creed Shadows dropped,
They don't feel comfortable saying, right? But then you look at the replies.
no one would care. No one would care. But unfortunately,
This person says,
those reactions never happened.
comrade. That would be awesome. You might be cooked. Honestly, if someone had him accidentally drink water, he might explode. Oh my god. Another joke about Asmongold drinking water. What's next? A joke about his room being messy? Wow, how original, dude. But you can see, the top comment gets 10,000 likes. The one saying, let's pool money.
Those 10,000 likes, if those 10,000 people who liked that comment just bought the game and played it,
Behavior is
I don't think Assassin's Creed Shadows will would have had any problems.
Japan doesn't make sense.
Again, I keep saying this. These people are not playing games. They're not watching movies. What they do is they get the entertainment from getting reactions in social media.
Woke is literally a good thing. This person thinks discriminating against people based on the color of their skin is literally a good thing. Welcome to TikTok, ladies and gentlemen. This is the kind of space and the kind of people you will encounter. It's a hellscape. Stay away from TikTok. I'm telling you, you lose brain cells every second you're there. But Asmongold is aware of this, and he briefly responded to this, and he would give his thoughts about these comments, in particular the ones about putting some sort of a hit out on him.
So the game was massively bloated. But no, I did see people are trying to like talk about killing me and stuff like this. The reality is that you wouldn't need to do that if you had better games and you had better arguments. You wouldn't need to resort to violence, threats, intimidation.
That is what I was saying. If the game was good, no one would care. Another, again, example of a woke game that found success is Baldur's Gate. I have never played it, but everyone who played the game praised it.
It encapsulates
Because most probably the game was good. They enjoyed playing it, and the wokeness wasn't at the forefront, or wasn't at the front of the entire thing. Maybe it's just a nuance thing within the game, and it wasn't the focus of the game.
calls to violence against.
That's the problem with woke game developers. They They are so ingrained in their wokeness that they are failing in what they should be doing, and that is making good games. Have you seen all the Christian games? None of them were good because the religion was at the forefront of the games.
Well, Native Americans are still Americans.
That's why I have never seen a good Christian or a good religious game.
Yes, the Native Americans famously didn't live in the Americas. They never, they lived in...
Because those types of games are more focused on teaching the gospel than creating innovative and fun gameplay.
There's some hope out
And that's the problem with wokeness. Wokeness is a religion. It is a religion. It is a belief system. That's why when someone woke makes a game,
Ubisoft is marketing this game, and
the thing that pops out is the message. That is the teaching. Their teaching, their belief is what comes up, what comes out, or what comes up from the game itself. The gameplay sucks, the story sucks, the dialogue sucks. Sure, the graphics may look good, but good graphics don't make a good game.
It's not a 10. And it's not a 1 either.
And I think he's right. You know, as much as I like to crap on this game, is it a 1 out of 10? Like, honestly, if you're giving an objective review of the game, even with the controversies in mind, is it really a 1 out of 10? No. Is it a 10 out of 10? No. If you're giving it a 10 out of 10, you're doing this.
Just take a look at the interaction with Elon Musk and Assassin's Creed in X. Assassin's Creed's post got like millions of views and likes. Imagine this. If those people who liked the post just bought the game and played it,
of this game, and it's absolutely ridiculous. But that's
there wouldn't have been any problems.
Down below. And I'll see you next time.
It's the same with the latest Captain America movie. If everyone who defended the movie, if all those people came out and watched the movie, there were like pretty sure hundreds of thousands of people defending the movie, it would have made more money. But unfortunately, those people defending the movie never came out of their houses because they know the movie sucks. They don't find entertainment in playing games. They don't find entertainment in watching movies. They don't find entertainment in watching TV shows, watching sports. They don't find any entertainment in that. The modern audience, the wokes, they find entertainment in getting reactions in social media. That's why that's why you'll find them advocating violence towards, content creators or those that they don't agree with. That's one way of getting a reaction. So if you threaten someone with violence, I'm pretty sure a lot of people will react to what you just did. They crave attention and they are farming reactions. That's how they get their entertainment. Not in playing games, not in watching movies, not in enjoying or watching sports, not in watching television series. No. Their main source of entertainment is rallying up people in the internet. There are millions of them out there, yet none almost none of the games that was supposedly made for them became successful. And those making games for them, they don't understand how to run a business. Again, Michael Jordan said it best: Republicans buy shoes too. Why did he say that? Because it's true. Because if he alienate half of the country, that's a lot of money lost. Why would you do that? Michael Jordan knows business. He knows how to make money. But unfortunately, woke game companies, woke game studios, and even woke businesses, they don't understand it. They rely on their previous successes. Just look at the MCU. After Endgame, I guess there's a reason why it's called Endgame, because everything ended. Now the MCU is struggling. Back then, whenever Marvel released a new MCU movie, everyone here in the house, we would go out and watch it. After Endgame, I think the kids watch I think they watch Doctor Strange because they liked the trailer. I did not. My wife did not. The kids did. But after that, that was it. Even Spider-Man No Way Home, I think they just watched it on the internet. I'm not sure if my other kids watched it. They weren't really interested anymore. The magic disappeared. The magic was no longer there. Because wokeness killed or eliminated or destroyed the magic. I don't see anything new here. Well, this is new. I'm going to check this out because this was like 4 hours ago. Very fresh, very new.
Well, would you look at that? Just a few short hours after I published my video talking about how I'm doubting that Ubisoft is really doing well when it comes to Assassin's Creed Shadows, even though they're pushing out there on social media with marketing that this has over 3 million players and people should be celebrating it. Do we hear news that Ubisoft themselves have announced that they have formed a partnership with Tencent to create a new entity, and Tencent will now have 25% stake in any of the decisions moving forward with the major titles that Ubisoft owns.
Now you'll have Assassin's Creed Gacha.
Tencent is now going to be somebody who's a major stakeholder in the decision-making moving
and we'll now get Assassin's Creed free to play. Yeah.
it's not pretty. In fact, many of the employees there are causing quite an uproar, causing another mass email to go out to calm their fears and say, no, everything's fine, guys. It's going according to plan. There's nothing to worry about, nothing to see here. Everything's gonna be just fine. But some of you are probably gonna be out of a job. Hit that subscribe, give me a like, and check out smashjt.com for the full article breaking down the craziness and chaos that is Ubisoft today. And this is the day that we...
What is it? Ubisoft or Ubisoft?
After news drop happens. And I can't even keep up with it because Ubisoft is all over the place. And none of it is really good. This all comes to us from an exclusive report from Tom Henderson at Insider Gaming. Today is becoming quite the day for Ubisoft being in the news. First, their marketing team pushes on social media that everything's going just swimmingly with Assassin's Creed Shadows having over 3 million players.
So they're saying that Tencent is now in charge of 3 of their franchises, including Assassin's Creed.
Ubisoft has officially partnered with
Assassin's Creed free to play.
A new subsidiary company focused on keeping
Assassin's Creed MMO.
Far Cry and Rainbow Six. I spoke about the potential of this happening like a week ago or so, maybe a little bit over that, talking about how there were rumors that Ubisoft
Assassin's Creed MOBA.
maybe take on some.
Maybe they'll add an Assassin's Creed character in Vanguard. Oh wait, that's Riot Games. I'm sorry. I guess I'm confusing the two.
To fruition. While Ubisoft's leadership is, of course,
but then again, I believe Tencent has ownership.
They gotta always sell everything.
Has some kind of ownership in Riot Games.
And the leaked email that we got from CEO Yves Guillemot tells everyone a very different story. One that employees are deeply concerned about their future, or lack thereof. And here is the other foot that everyone was expecting to drop. Yves' email starts off saying, "Hi everyone, I'm pleased to share an important announcement." They go over talking about this milestone in Ubisoft's history, following the process of reviewing different strategic options for Ubisoft's future, because it couldn't possibly be that they're making poor decisions, the company went woke, and they're not selling games to people that want to actually buy those. No, it has nothing to do with that. It's just, changing economic times and, struggles of being a business. It's tough stuff. The email goes on to talk about how Tencent is investing 1.16 billion euros into Ubisoft's new entity that's being formed here, and the terms of the partnership are straightforward, establishing a dedicated subsidiary within
the new entity, the new subsidiary is gonna be called UbiWoke. Yeah. It's not Ubisoft, it's UbiWoke.
Undisputed global icons. Then he goes into a bunch of fluff saying, oh, it's all good news and everything's happy and rainbows and butterflies and nothing to worry about here. Until you get to the bottom half of the email where it says, "I want to express my deepest gratitude for your resilience, tenacity, courage, and creativity, all the qualities that make Ubisoft a truly unique company and helped us overcome challenging period over the last few years. The coming months will be dedicated to shaping our next chapter. Of course, this new step in our transformation will raise many questions, including on an individual level. We are committed to keeping you regularly informed, answering your questions, and providing visibility on the next steps." And that is pretty obvious corporate speak for, yeah, we're going to be reviewing what people do here, and if it's not something that we need, your job's probably going to be cut. Now, if you've ever worked in a corporate environment, when something like a consolidation happens, it can throw the entire workday into complete chaos, and you lose focus on what you're even supposed to be doing, and you start chatting with your coworkers about the future prospects of your employment there. And this all caused a massive uproar, reportedly, throughout all of Ubisoft. So bad to the point that they had to follow up that initial email with another one. These employees at Ubisoft are extremely concerned about their jobs right now. The very thing I said would
by the way, JT, are you sure those emails are legit? Okay, you must make sure that what you are sharing or reporting on are legit and not just made up leaks.
telling people, no, it's not what you think, even though it's pretty much exactly what he said. Hello, everyone. I want to follow up immediately after Yuvez's email regarding the new business unit that is being created. First and foremost, I want to emphasize that the agreement we announced is a powerful enabler and an exciting opportunity for Ubisoft. Not for you, the employees. It's for the greater good of the company. And your job is probably going to be lost because of it. But hey, don't worry about it because Ubisoft. Not that anyone's really surprised at this point. I mean, Ubisoft has been bleeding money for years. Some could even argue decades. It has been a straight fall down as their stock has gone. And all they have along the way is indoctrinated employees, people coming in that are activists, not gamers, trying to push propaganda instead of people that actually have a passion for gaming. Like, sure, there are a few developers in there that do care about the gaming, that do have a passion for what they're doing, but it's been overrun by activists, people that go in with a different ideology and intention outside of just making a great game. In fact, they go in with the intention of, how do I make this game about me?
At this point, they're no longer activists. They're just cult followers or religious zealots,
as I call it, that all think the same way. And while they claim to be diverse all the time, the one thing they're always lacking is diversity of thought. The one thing you need to understand that your customers don't want slop. At the bottom of her email, it says, of course, this brings some uncertainty and questions. Right now, we may not have all the detailed answers, but we are committed to communicating with you transparently and regularly. Supporting you through this transition is the top priority for your local and your global leadership teams. Don't hesitate to reach out to them to stay tuned locally. Usual or dedicated studio times will be also good forums to keep you updated and answer your questions. Read, Tencent is not going to want to deal with the bloat that is nearly 20,000 Ubisoft global employees worldwide, and they're probably going to be cutting a good amount of those people that, let's be honest, that are pretty much dead weight in a company that is billions of dollars in debt. It's probably not the best idea to continue paying these people that aren't bringing in any money. But here's the concern that I have for all of this, the broader implications of Tencent's deeper foothold in Western gaming, and it can't be ignored. It's very concerning to see China take up so much land in the gaming space, but to be honest, the way Canada has been going woke with their approach to gaming in recent years, this was the only natural course of evolution for it to go. Like, I gotta be honest, did these people expect to just make whatever they wanted to make and it would just sell because it exists? Because that's not how the open and free marketplace works. You need to create a product that customers want to purchase. And in this case, you work at a video game.
This is where GT is wrong.
That people are excited to play. You can't.
Yeah, I think he's wrong here. Everyone or anyone is allowed to make anything they want. Okay, there is nothing wrong in making anything you want.
Ideology.
What's wrong is expecting people to buy what you made.
And that's not a winning strategy for anybody. And it has to make you wonder if this conspiracy theory coming from China pushing woke ideology is a way to be able to scoop up all these companies at a lower price, because it's something people have been floating around for a while. And now we see it coming to fruition just like people predicted. And I don't know, it's kind of hard not to put 2 and 2 together and get 4 here. Ubisoft may be calling this the beginning of a new chapter, but for many,
are you saying that it's a conspiracy theory from China? That China was the one involved in making all these companies woke?
This Tencent transition.
To go woke and to go broke so that they can easily buy them? Whoa, okay. Whoa.
Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. If you guys want more information, check
that is so insidious.
In the description below. If you appreciate what I'm doing, hit that join button. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, you stay smashing.
Okay, so I guess this is music from Yasuke Simulator. The game has a free demo, but if you want to buy the game, you can also do that. I suck at this game. I tried the demo and I suck at it. I couldn't even beat the boss of the tutorial. I keep running out of bullets. Anyway, we're going to end here by listening to Yasuke Simulator music. Well, I'm just hoping that I won't get a copyright claim or copyright strike from it. Anyway, guys, that's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream, and if you did, please follow the channel in Rumble, in Twitch, in Kick, in DLive, in Nemo, in Party, and in YouTube if you're watching there. Also, I guess my bad internet connection is back. Look at that. It's 0 bitrate. Oh my goodness gracious. What could be causing this thing? Okay, I was doing well for hours because my internet connection was like perfect. I wasn't losing any data packets, but it looks like it's back to losing data packets. Okay, anyway guys, thank you for watching and see you in the next one. Bye bye for now.